I'm not really sure Donald Trump knows he's the president, because remember when he waited 10 minutes after the wildfire started here in LA before he started blaming DEI?
Today blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. You then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistakes.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
Take it from a man who looked directly into an eclipse. You need common sense.
Trump spent 38 minutes of a 40-minute press conference blaming others for a tragic plane crash. That's right, folks. He dedicated less time to sympathy than it takes to microwave a burrito. Is this the new Olympic sport? The blame game, where politicians compete to see who can dodge responsibility the fastest. Trump's going for gold, and he's leaving empathy in the dust. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Alright folks, let's dive into the wild world of Trump's blame game. Our orange-tinted friend has outdone himself this time. He's not just pointing fingers, he's wagging his whole hand at DEI for a plane crash. Yeah, you heard that right. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are now apparently responsible for aviation disasters.
Well, I guess he learned from that lesson, because this time he slept on it and then started pointing that little orange nub.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense.
White male pilot had injected a little bleach into that helicopter. None of this would have happened.
Trump spent 38 minutes of a 40-minute press conference playing the blame game. That's like spending your entire birthday party complaining about the cake and only taking 2 bites. But hey, at least he's consistent in his inconsistency, right? So what's Trump's rock-solid evidence for this outrageous claim? His common sense, of course. The same common sense that told him to suggest injecting disinfectant to cure COVID. Maybe we should start calling it uncommon sense instead. Let's break down Trump's logic, shall we? Black Hawk helicopter plus diverse air traffic controllers equals recipe for disaster. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? About as much sense as using a fish to hammer a nail. But wait, there's more. Trump's common sense has a success rate lower than a chocolate teapot in a sauna. It's like he's playing darts blindfolded and expecting to hit the bullseye every time. But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because Trump's blame game is just getting started. What other ridiculous things will he blame on DEI next? Maybe his bad hair days. The wind was too diverse. It came from all directions. Or how about his golf scores? The ball discriminated against my putting skills. Turns out Trump's list of DEI-caused disasters includes everything from burnt toast to climate change. Who knew diversity was so powerful? Maybe we should harness it to solve world hunger or create world peace. Oh wait, that's probably too logical for Trump's common sense to handle. But seriously folks, this is getting out of hand. Trump's blaming DEI faster than a toddler blaming their imaginary friend for drawing on the walls. It's like he's playing a twisted version of Mad Libs where every blank space is filled with DEI's fault. And let's not forget, this is the same guy who once said he knew more about ISIS than the generals. Maybe in Trump's world, DEI stands for Don't Expect Intelligence. Or perhaps deflect every inquiry. Either way, it's clear that Trump's relationship with reality is about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. But here's the kicker, folks. While Trump's busy playing the blame game, real issues are getting ignored. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof by yelling at the rain. Sure, it might make you feel better for a moment, but you're still gonna end up with a wet floor. So what's next on Trump's blame list? Will he accuse DEI of making his McDonald's fries cold? Or maybe he'll claim it's responsible for his spray tan turning him into a human Cheeto. At this point, nothing would surprise us. Well folks, just when you thought Trump couldn't dig himself any deeper, Jimmy Kimmel showed up with a shovel and a sick burn. Kimmel's got Trump's number, and it's definitely not the nuclear codes. Our late night hero didn't just roast Trump, he barbecued him, served him up, and then threw the leftovers to the dogs. Kimmel called Trump callous, racist, sexist, and most of all, stupid. Ouch, that's gotta hurt more than Trump's toupee in a windstorm. But wait, there's more. Kimmel wasn't done with our orange friend just yet. He compared Trump blaming DEI for the plane crash to blaming 9/11 on hummus. Now that's what I call a spicy take. Can you picture Trump getting jealous of disasters? I'm the biggest disaster. Point that camera at me. It's like he's competing in the Disaster Olympics, and he's going for gold in the making a fool of yourself category. Trump's so-called common sense is about as reliable as a chocolate teapot in a sauna. It's melting faster than his chances of ever being taken seriously again. But here's the real kicker, folks. Trump watches more cartoons than a preschooler on a sugar high. I'm not kidding. Word on the street is that his TV viewing habits might explain his bizarre logic. Is Bugs Bunny his new political advisor? Is he getting his foreign policy ideas from Peppa Pig? The mind boggles. Remember when experts thought Trump was just playing dumb back in 2016? Well, surprise, surprise. Turns out he's actually a genius at making us facepalm. Kimmel wasn't kidding when he called Trump deeply stupid. But is there a method to his madness? Maybe he's trying to set a world record for the most ridiculous statements made by a former president. If that's the case, he's winning bigly. Now, most people think Trump's blaming DEI because he's racist. Others say he's just confused. But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because the truth might shock you. What if, and bear with me here, Trump doesn't know what DEI stands for? He probably thinks it's a new type of cuffef. I can just imagine him now. DEI? Is that some kind of fancy European water? But seriously, why is a former president struggling with three-letter acronyms? Did he use up all his brain cells trying to spell America? Or maybe he's just playing 4D chess while the rest of us are stuck in checkers. Either way, it's clear that Trump's relationship with reality is about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Let's not forget, this is the same guy who once said he knew more about ISIS than the generals. Maybe in Trump's world, DEI stands for don't expect intelligence. Or perhaps deflect every inquiry. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he blamed DEI for his bad hair days. The wind was too diverse. It came from all directions. But here's the thing, folks. While Trump's busy playing the blame game, real issues are getting ignored. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof by yelling at the rain. Sure, it might make you feel better for a moment, but you're still gonna end up with a wet floor. And in this case, we're all getting soaked in Trump's nonsense. So what's next on Trump's blame list? Will he accuse DEI of making his McDonald's fries cold? Or maybe he'll claim it's responsible for his spray tan turning him into a human Cheeto. At this point, nothing would surprise us. We're living in a world where political rhetoric has become more absurd than a reality TV show. And Trump, he's the star of this bizarre circus, juggling lies and tossing common sense out the window. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our wild ride through Trump's blame game, and boy, what a roller coaster it's been. Our orange friend has managed to turn political discourse into a comedy show, but let's be real, it's not all laughs when the punchline affects real people. Jimmy Kimmel really went to town on Trump, didn't he? Calling him callous, racist, sexist, and most of all, stupid. Ouch, that's gotta sting more than Trump's spray tan in a rainstorm. But Kimmel's got a point, doesn't he? When a former president starts blaming diversity for plane crashes, you've gotta wonder if he's playing with a full deck. It's like Trump's playing a twisted game of Mad Libs, where every blank is filled with DEI's fault. Late for work, DEI. Stubbed your toe, definitely DEI. Bad hair day, you bet it's DEI. Maybe next time he'll blame DEI for his McDonald's fries being cold. The fry cook was too diverse. He came from all directions. But here's the thing, folks. While it's easy to laugh at Trump's ridiculous claims, we can't forget that this kind of talk has real consequences. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Sure, it might look impressive for a second, but in the end, everything's just gonna burn down faster. So next time you hear a politician blaming something ridiculous for a serious problem, remember, common sense isn't always common. And maybe, just maybe, we should all take a page from Trump's book and start blaming DEI for our problems. Late for work. DEI made the traffic too diverse. Can't find your keys. DEI hid them in an inclusive hiding spot. But seriously, folks, let's not forget that while we're laughing at Trump's antics, there are real issues that need our attention. It's like we're all watching a clown show while the circus tent is on fire. Sure, the clown's funny, but maybe we should be focusing on the flames. So what's next in the world of political comedy? Will Trump blame DEI for his golf scores? The ball discriminated against my putting skills. Or maybe he'll accuse it of making his steaks well done. The grill was too inclusive. It welcomed all temperatures. one thing's for sure. As long as Trump keeps talking, comedians like Jimmy Kimmel will have plenty of material. It's like a never-ending buffet of bizarre statements and outrageous claims. Trump's the gift that keeps on giving, even if it's a gift we'd all like to return. But hey, at least we can all laugh about it, right? I mean, if we didn't laugh, we'd probably cry. And who knows, maybe laughter is the best medicine for dealing with political absurdity. Just don't tell Trump. He might blame DEI for making medicine too diverse. So, as we wrap up this wild journey through Trump's latest adventures in blame shifting, let's take a moment to appreciate the absurdity of it all. It's like we're living in a political sitcom and Trump's the bumbling main character who never learns his lesson. And speaking of lessons, maybe there's one we can all take from this. Next time life throws you a curveball, just blame DEI. It worked for Trump, right? Well, maybe not, but at least it'll give us all a good laugh. Stay tuned, folks. Who knows what wild and wacky political shenanigans we'll be covering next? Will Trump blame DEI for his next Twitter ban? Will he accuse it of making his rallies too diverse? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. And hey, if you enjoyed this roller coaster of political comedy, don't forget to check out our next video. Trump goes mad after Michelle Obama delivers knockout blow to Trump in must-see SmackDown. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. It's gonna be huge.